This was the first tune I actually started making out of the tracks on the record. The other songs are all full live band, whereas this is just me and Stacey making a beat.
Sick.
The first layer that I put down was this. This was Operator from Ableton, which is like a FM-based synth. So you can get oscillators to modulate each other, just like you do with the human voice, you know? So it's like, so that's like a pure sine wave. That's the simplest waveform that you can get. If I boot this one up, it's the exact same tone as this one. Yeah? A and B are both exactly the same. But if I put them in series, the frequency from A begins modulating the frequency from B. So you can start stacking sine waves, you can start stacking other kind of waveforms on top. So if I boost this one up like an octave or so, you get... Let me see if I can get somewhere close to that sound that I originally made. And so you turn the release up here. Yeah, it gets a bit more of a tail on the note. Turn the attack up here. Most sounds in nature tend to have like a bit of a noise layer on them as well. You know, you think about a saxophone, there is air being pushed through it, and blowing air sounds like So I usually like to finish things off with like a noise layer as well. You end up with something like this. The sound that ended up coming together was something that I think was informed by like quite a lot of funk and fusion and kind of disco stuff. Even Oscar Peterson, like the great jazz piano player, like he was messing around with synths in the 70s. Obvious names like Herbie, you know, getting certain sounds out of what they were doing. And what I really loved about a lot of those records was that those sounds had their own groove. You know, it wasn't like trying to replicate a pre-existing acoustic sound. It was like getting your own kind of juice out of the technology that you had. That's that top line there. That's the fanfare. I made this in Razor, which is part of the Reactor suite in Native Instruments. What's great about that synth is that it's got a reverb module in it that actually adds like harmonic information to the sound. So just like I was building all those sine waves up, it's got a similar algorithm, but actually in the echo and reverb model on the synth, which means that once you've finished your sound, you can then add another layer of like brightness and like kind of sizzle to it with the actual reverb module on the synth, which is very cool. And again, I did a bit more of that kind of ornamentation, some of that pitch, little flicks on the pitch wheel on the synth I played it on. Again, just adding a bit more like human feel. I kind of imagined like snake charming when I made some of these sounds. I love dry drum sounds. One of my favorite sounds is just like the knock of like a really flipping well-tuned, well-put-together drum kit. And I'm like, and even like, I came out of like online beatmaker communities initially, releasing with Night Owl and Good Society and all these like little labels. So much of what makes all of their artists' music really good, and kind of a lot of the sound of those, is like the drum sound. So for me, one of the biggest things in my production workflow is like saturation. So like, that is not a normal kick sound. You can hear the crunch on it. It's not quite distorted, but the saturation on it, you can hear there's almost like a little growl at the top. And this was not played on a drum kit, which is again, this is the only tune on the record that I don't actually play drums on. So again, yeah, this is me in beatmaker mode. So we're firmly in dance floor territory here. I wanted something to tie it all together without it sounding like too maximalist. And funnily enough, the thing that ended up doing that was adding even more in the form of just Charlie just like dancing over the top, which I think sounds amazing. He literally one-tracked this whole thing. There was no, oh, can you send me this? Can you send me that? I don't like this, I don't like that. He one-tracked this whole bit. Which is crazy, because like the fact that he jammed that out and that was just his stream of consciousness over the track one time is crazy to me. Crazy.
It's so sick.
This is like one end of the spectrum with what I do, which is like, you know, organizing and arranging and doing the beat maker, producer job, you know? The fun thing with this was that having Charlie literally jam over the top of it, but then achieving this thing that sounds, I would say, even more deliberate because of how, like, just the musicality that Charlie plays with over it. It's like taking the variables and pushing them to, I guess, extremes, which when you have something like a beat like this that is so heavily arranged, it felt like a natural thing to do to let Charlie like really just improvise over the top of it.